Welcome to the Ultimate Fancast, where fans are the star of the show. Each week we explore the epic co-created Battle Bunnies franchise from legendary artist Frank and Christa LaNatra and the team at Junkbox Studios. Ultimate fans join BBS, Lord L, and Brian as they dive deep into the extraordinary world of the Battle Bunnies. Plus, we'll be your guides and take you backstage with the creators and actors who are captivating family audiences worldwide. Are you ready to meet this week's Ultimate Fan? It's time to fan up and enjoy the show.
Welcome everybody again to another awesome Ultimate Fancast. Today we definitely have an awesome fan behind the backstage. We do every week, but every single week I can just keep on saying it. We've got an amazing one, and we do. We've definitely seen him in this space a lot. He's a founder of his own. He's and I remember when he first came to the Bunnies, and he's just hit the ground running ever since. And so we got Roni, RDogg. Welcome to the stage, my man.
Welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah,
This is great.
Welcome, man. So glad to have you here.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome, man.
And having your perspective of the Bunnies is absolutely amazing to us, because we know when you first came to us, you were representing another family, one of your own projects, and you've opened arms straight away from word go. It's been kind of like there's been no secrecy, and there's been no you're minting and I'm minting type of dilemmas. It's just been straight transparency from day one. And you're one of those other people that I like to say is when you're speaking, like, we're all quiet and we're listening, because we know what you've got into, you've delved into deeply, and everything is all self-educated, from what we've found. And something you don't know, 2 days later you come back and we're asking you for questions on this. So, man, definitely so glad to have you. Definitely to have you in the community, and definitely happy to be a part of everything you got going on. So what's happening?
Not much, man. I'm just stuck up in a hotel right now for work, just hanging out. We scheduled the space. This works perfect for me, just hanging out with you guys tonight. So don't feel like we have to rush or anything. We're hanging out. And yeah, man, I've been in the Battle Bunnies, a little over a year now. Been with them at Richmond last year. That's coming up pretty soon. Looking forward to that immensely. Can't wait to see everybody again. Luke, you as well. And what can I say about the Battle Bunnies that hasn't been said by almost everybody? And it's just the artwork, the founders, the community, everything that has to do with it is just so engaging. So much gravity is around this project and this team. It's insane. So I mean, and I can always count on you, Luke, as a founder, working hard in the background. You aren't sure if people are recognizing, man, but I can always count on you.
Thanks, man. And I definitely think Frank and Christa deserve all the flowers they get. And we never hate hearing anything to do with praise, even if we hear it the same thing over and over again. Like, we all feel the same, and that's the reason why we're here. And just show respect to them, show respect to the project, and show respect to ourselves, because it's credit where credit's due, man. And flowers where there's flowers. And even if we're saying the same things, we all still want to know, because we all have that same common interest of some type. Like what strikes you the most out of anything to do with the Bunnies? Is it like, you said you met Frank in Richmond and that's how you got involved? Was it like what brings you, what keeps you here? Like what's your main? Is it the community? Or what's your why?
I'm here for the live, for the chop. It's all good.
Nice. Yeah, you're a pro. You've done this. I'll bring this to stage because you shared this with us, but I recognize the voice from the round tables. It's nice to actually put a face to that voice, because definitely recognizable from that for sure. So but to go back to Luke's question, what he was asking kind of, what's your why? What's the thing that attracts you to the Bunnies and keeps you here?
All right, Roni, man, we want to dive deep into your head. And obviously we're all in the Bunnies for a different reason. We all end up here for the same reason. I've self-titled. I'm just going to say, obviously, it's the community and it's the camaraderie, it's the friendships that we created. But we all had our first inlet. What was our first? You said you met Frank at Richmond, the Tattoo Arts Convention, yep. And he drew you in. Like, what was it? The art? Was it him being a tattoo artist? Like, what was your first outlet coming in?
So it was a combination of a few things for sure. Firstly, it was his whole setup of his booth was awesome. Just the way they set it up with the banners, all the IRL merch, and at that point, Nick and I were really focused on community building. We were doing primarily collaboration projects at that time, so we didn't exactly have an actual project collection out that people could purchase at that time. We were there for networking reasons for sure, but for Frank, it was definitely the artwork. And after that, it was just his welcoming personality. I mean, he immediately was drawn to every community member there that was asking questions. He was openly answering all questions. And then when I was asking him about his IRL merch and stuff, and how they utilize that with their NFT project and the storyline came in, I was just absolutely blown away by the layers that they had built in to their brand, to the project in such a short amount of time that they had been in the space. So definitely was that. And then finding out that he was a tattoo artist, it resonated with us and our brand and what we do, and it was immediate kind of connection from there right off the hop.
Very nice.
Yeah, man, I definitely think you are an ultimate fan because you run 2 different Discords. You're a founder. You're a founder of like 2 projects, and you still find the time to jump in because we all know Discords can get a bit hectic at times. But man, you're always there at our round table. You may not be there active 24/7, but when we call upon you per se, or when the Fluffle needs you, or because you are a Fluffle member, you are part of the Fluffle. Like, you always take the time. You always take the time to come support us and be a part of everything. So it's juggling that in this Web3 obviously is hectic. So shout out to you for having that time for us. And I see Brian's got this plug up here, right?
Yeah, brought up a plug.
Battle Cat, love that.
So that was one of the hops that the Battle Bunny makes. So like, as you guys know, and I'm sure you've talked about in previous spaces, like this was one of the hops that we made. I think when we initially rebranded from, I can't remember what we called, the collection of projects.
I had the same thing the other day. I just remember the Inner Circle.
Thank you.
Because I was thinking the other day,
right.
I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, same. It's been so long.
And then we felt that the Inner Circle just wasn't inclusive. We felt it was kind of, it just felt like it sounded like just the Inner Circle. So this is when, we kind of had that change over to the round table. I think Christa and Frank and Luke and a few others from the Inner Circle had the initial idea and brought it forth to everybody. And we thought it was a great idea because it definitely makes everyone feel a little more inclusive when we're bringing other projects in, because there's no saying how big or how small this round table is. It constantly grows with every community and new project, new individual that we're meeting. So this one, I think, hits real close to my heart. It's one that I have in my wallet as well, and it's gonna be there forever because it's that moment that we had that change that I feel is gonna be around for a long time.
That's very cool.
100%, man. I remember I got my first cat. I think I got it in one of your competitions in Discord. So I know my first one's this wicked red dude with a mad mohawk, man. It's going to stay in my collection forever, regardless if someone needs the seal. It's mine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love the artwork. I love the backgrounds too. I really geek out about the detail within the Battle Cats. Like, I know that some real thought has been put into those, and I really appreciate it. And to the point where I just go, I have a lot of these things. I have a lot of Battle Cats, and I have, I'm just a huge fan of your collection. I feel like it's no surprise that you're here, and an ultimate fan of the Battle Bunnies, because I feel like a lot of the same qualities that you have Frank and Krista have, John and Mike. You know, it's like you're always there, always showing up. Like, you know, you're busy. You're running a business. You have 2 Discords. You know, like you have a sick paintball team. You know, and to constantly just like if I want to just pop in your Discord and say hi, I know you'll say hi or good morning or, you know, how's it going, and so it's no surprise to me that you're an Ultimate fan. I just wanted to
I appreciate that. Appreciate that, BBS, and appreciate you guys, you know, shouting out the tactical battle cats and the artwork, and you know, it goes outside of, you know, Nick being a tattoo artist, you know, transferring it to digital. You know, the details definitely there. It stands out with the detail, like you said, and most importantly, like with us, and what we always try to do is like we try to leverage our digital assets that we create to impact IRL change. So the most important thing to us is that collection is going to be making a change for veterans and first responders. You know, once we reach a certain point in our mint, we're still building up our community and stuff, but yeah, we're definitely proud of that collection, the way it's turned out and the way it's growing, and you know, the sub collections that are already kind of complete and waiting. I mean, the work that we have complete and kind of waiting for guys like you, BBS, who have a decent collection of these when the free claims for the dogs come in and stuff. It's gonna be awesome.
That's awesome. I'm having some FOMO. I definitely need to get more involved and figure out this project. I'm like, oh yeah,
you definitely
really cool.
do. Yeah, and it all starts from the top, like, you know. So, you know, the top is right, and then everything else is it just falls in line. So it's great. So, Roni, as a founder, right, and you have your own projects and you run your own, like the balance that you have between leading and creating and building, what stands out from what, you know, the Battle Bunny team is doing? Like what part of that, like are they making it look easy with what they're doing? Like, are they, because it looks like it's pretty easy on the front end, you know, like we have you know, we have a dark dragon that we can click on and it changes to different, you know, different NFTs. That's easy, right?
Yeah. It is. The integration and stuff that they have brought to Web3 and us as collectors, the constant innovation that they're doing. I mean, there are different ways that these technologies have been implemented, but the way that Frank and Krista are kind of utilizing this for their storyline, for their collectors, it's very unique. It's entertaining. They always make it fun. They make the spaces, you know, constant when they are leading up to their collections. And, you know, it's not easy. Whatever they're doing it from a passion perspective. And that's where a lot of that drive comes from. You can't do things like this unless you're doing it just because you like to do it. Everything else outside of that is a bonus. So from a founder perspective, it's not easy what Frank and Krista are doing. I'm constantly baffled and amazed by some of the things that they do, how fast they put it out. And coming from me, someone who is an individual who is just like, it's me and Nick. We get some help from our community members in the Discord and stuff. Shout out to Legion. And you know, it's a lot of work. So to watch Frank and Krista constantly be, you know, pushing the boundaries for the community and being active members, and you know, I'm excited that they've announced that this is going to be full time for them leading up pretty soon. So like, I can't even imagine what they're going to be doing, because, you know, they weren't full time. So I'm really excited to see what they do. So, you know, it's not easy. You know, my hat constantly goes off to Frank and Krista. I'm constantly amazed with what they do.
We like to get into character, right? We like to see what you would like to be in the Bunny universe. Like, have you delved into the book and the novel and the TCG game? Do you have yourself a character within them, or like or would you prefer to be someone that's already out there?
I've been procrastinating that dynamic of the collection. Like I've kicked myself in the butt missing out on Series 1. Like I had the opportunity to get into that, and just being busy, I just couldn't. I wanted to make sure it wasn't just some quick little thing either. So I just didn't get around to really honing down on my creative side and really making something worth putting into the book as well for a character. But Man, I love playing characters and stuff for sure. So like, I would love to, lead up to the next phase. I know that there will be a new book coming out, so definitely considerations on some different characters and stuff that I would love to have in the story for sure.
Oh yeah, there's still plenty of time. Plenty. I mean, like we talked to John recently, and I mean, when I say plenty of time, like the next book, they're planning on a May release. So
Yeah.
obviously they're in the midst of writing now, and then the third book they're gonna release in May of 2025. So there's still plenty of time for us. Like I'm not in the book. Like I have aspirations of having a character at some point that shows up in the book, because I think that would just really be cool.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you've missed out. They always they're always reminding us it's still early. It's still early.
It's kind of a perfect dynamic for me too with the timing, because I don't think the dragons have been quite incorporated into the first series yet. So I kind of see my character being somewhat incorporated with the dragons and stuff. So
do you have a preference? Are you on the light side or are you on the dark side of the dragons? Do you want to be do you have a preference on which side of the house you'd like to be part of?
So if I had to choose a specific type of like character, whether to be on one side or the other, I would think of like almost a black sheep character that is one and the other.
Ooh, nice. Very nice.
Ooh, yeah. Good take on that.
Yeah, you could definitely I'm sure you could write that in, like somebody that's playing both sides. Like the liaise between like the King Harold and the Vikings and Spartans, and then somebody that also has allegiances or alliances with the squirrels. So
yeah, like I see a character starting out as something like a procrastinator and somewhat of an instigator, and doesn't really think it's a great thing, and wants to lean more towards that light side, but there's a lot of pressure to continue on with that kind of dark alliance, but I get deep with the dynamic a little bit on it, but definitely something cool there.
Yeah, it sounds like you got the starting of a character backstory that could be in the grimoire. So that just getting that together and like putting that out there, that's really cool.
Sweet.
Well, we do know you are some pretty killer pieces to put some names on. So you've definitely got some other stuff to work on if you needed to, because I know you got a pretty sick looking Grynch there. I know you got some pretty sick stuff in that wallet of yours. Oh. I hear you may have a multi as well.
Yeah, 1 to 10.
Speaking of that, yeah, let's bring that up, because like I came prepared. I came prepared for Roni. Let me. I'm the guy that runs all the technical stuff.
Show me the power of Web3, Brian. Let's see it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't pull up your wallet, but what I did is I scraped from your wallet these sick pictures of like your collection, because you were one of 10 people that actually has like the full set of 13 Yuligans. Yes. And you got a Grynch Bunny. So I want to know, what's the story? Like, how did you do that? Like, did you mint them and just get
every single
lucky?
one? So
wow.
Actually, that's incorrect. 1 or 2 were traded through the Discord when Christa set up the forum for everyone to kind of pass and trade them around. So I did trade 1 with Frank, which this is reminding me, I feel like he owes me a Yuligan as a giveaway, because I think I traded it to him and he didn't give me anything back.
Oh, nice.
I'll have to remind him of that maybe. So there might be a Yuligan giveaway coming up soon through the Nick Taylor. Keep your eyes out.
Very cool.
And then I minted, like, me and my wife, like she is the actual ultimate like Battle Bunnies. Like, it's her only project that she's into. I have given her a couple other NFTs to kind of hold in her wallet and stuff, but that is her only project that she's watching, that she cares about, wants to know about the founders, wants to know what's going on. So that's where my role really came in, using my skills and abilities to like really dive into the project. Obviously, being connected and knowing Frank was a huge benefit, and just being interested in the project in general. But she is definitely the ultimate fan when it comes to the project itself. Between the two of us, she's always on my case to make sure I'm up to date with what's going on. So
Nice.
What was the Star Wars analogy that Frank hit her with?
She
when
can't
you guys
even
first
tell me,
met?
so I'll have to ask Frank because I'm curious to know too, because
I was
it was
curious,
like
yeah.
magic. I feel like he didn't give her an analogy. I think he actually has like Sith Force powers, and he just did the "You will get Ronnie to buy you a Battle Bunny," and that was it. She ran over, and I was out $500, I think, that weekend. So it was a good time.
Nice.
But
Very nice.
yeah, that
Nice
the
experience.
the Yuligans were mostly minted. Like when that drop was coming up, she was excited for it. It was like Christmas time, so it was kind of part of her Christmas gift for me. It was like, hey, how many you want? Oh, cool. So that worked out great for me. It was nice and easy. So she minted a whole bunch, and I minted like I think 8. She minted like 8 or 10, and we got really, really lucky. I minted the Grynch and the gift hoarder right in that set. And then I just had to do a couple of the 2 light trades in the Discord after that. So I got super lucky. Actually, it was probably one of my best pulls out of a 10-pack that I've ever done.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, that Grynch. That's
yeah. So I got a Grynch too. I mean, not a Grynch, a gift hoarder too. I was pretty excited about.
Yeah, those are rare. That's and once you got those, like obviously the egg hoarder. Well, not obviously but to somebody that's kind of outside the project, like the egg hoarder, as part of the Light Dragon drops, you got a special Light Dragon egg that was just for the egg hoarder holders, and I think I can't remember how many. I guess I could go look at my spreadsheet to see how many egg hoarders there actually were, but it was limited. Like there's,
Yeah, there's 24 because I got one of them as well, so I was pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
So and then the gift hoarders,
two dozen egg hoarders.
Yeah, 2 dozen egg hoarders, and then only 10 gift hoarders. So that's awesome that you pulled that. And then 1 of 8 on the Grynch bunnies, because those are super rare too.
Yeah. The crazy thing is my wife pulled a egg hoarder as well. So she had a good pull as well. And I think she got a epic too. So she did fairly well.
Wow.
Yeah, that's always good to hear.
They're so cute.
Yeah,
I love the art.
I don't know
excited. If you... Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was gonna say you guys can't see, but like I bought like somebody's, because I came into the project after all this thing, but that Kamara dragon, like, well, her name is Kamara. That one up there, she's the egg that I bought. Somebody sold their egg hoarder egg, because I didn't have an egg hoarder and I wasn't around for the project, and I was just hoping that it would be something cool. And then when she came up as a Timberfang, I geeked out. I was like, yes, that is so cool. I love the art. I love the colors. Yeah. But that's the only egg hoarder egg that, that I got. But, it was definitely worth the investment for me. But now I've collected I've collected 12 of the 13. I'm never going to get probably a gift hoarder, but you never know. Like maybe at some point somebody's like, I want to get out of the Yuligan business. And I'll just wait around, and hopefully it won't be ridiculously expensive to buy one. But I'm a completionist, so I like to have everything. And I know it'll be difficult to get the gorilla, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but she's pretty cool too. Yeah. She's pretty awesome. She's also a 1 of 8, I think. But maybe someday. But out of that, you got this. Let's show the other fans watching, this awesome egg you have in the upper right, which I can speak for BBS and Lord L that, man, that egg, like we would all love to have that egg that you have in your collection. That's pretty cool.
I just love the glow on it. You get to see the silhouette of what could be. It adds that excitement. Like I'm literally clicking in my wallet every 5 to 7 days. I'm like, what is happening with this thing? It's gonna hatch soon. I know it. I can feel it. It's rumbling in my pocket. It has to. But it turns out it's just a text message. So
yeah, like, and I think your two, like your Snowflake Valley and your Mystic Myrrh, they haven't hatched yet either. So that's a good sign
No,
too.
I know.
So that'll be good. But I'm excited for the Scyther egg, the one up in the upper left, for that to hatch, because we haven't seen that dragon yet. So that'll be cool too.
That one excites
So I've
me
heard
because
that's
I like
not
the
going to
colors.
hatch.
It's not going to hatch ever.
No, I don't think it is. But I mean, I could be wrong. But I've heard
it has
that
the dragon
that's
inside
not
of it.
going to. I know. Well, we'll have to see if I'm wrong or not. But I think I remember hearing that that's not going to hatch.
I think as a community, if that's the case, we can just bully Frank. We'll tell him we're not allowing that. There must be dragons out of these eggs. And
yeah, like the unhatchables are nice, like they're legendary, and we get the special cards with the unhatchable eggs. But like having like these dragons that have a personality, like I'd much rather have a personality than something that's like stuck inside of an egg. You know, that just doesn't. That's not as cool to me, I guess.
I would imagine
we have 4 names that we can put on a petition right now.
I would imagine with Frank and Christa, like if I was thinking of this from a founder perspective, with the unhatchables and not there being many, maybe they have plans later on down the road for people who do have those. So, you know, it's always nice to have the dragon, but
it's super crazy, right? We're all massively invested in the bunnies. We all call ourselves ultimate fans, but we all have a different interpretation of the Scyther egg. Because I thought it was an add-on. I thought you got to use it as an add-on to another dragon, or the dark dragon. So all 4 of us have a different thought on that egg, and yet we're all in there daily. So that just goes to show how much is going on. It's like, I know you're a completionist, Brian, but we've got to have some eggs unhatched. You know how many other amazing art pieces are out there?
With the dark dragons, they hatch as we know the trait. We know which ones are unhatchable. Like they already know that, you know, it's like 2 per drop has been, or 2, or is it 4? Like there's a few of them that that are unhatchables, but the rest of them we're expecting to see dragons. Like so. I didn't know that about the Scyther eggs, though. I'm hoping they at some point they hatch into something.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong, or they change their direction of it.
Yeah. Well, after watching this episode, Frank and Christa at least know that 4 people would love to see dragons come out of those eggs. Except for Luke. Luke wants a couple of them to be unhatchable, which is fine. Like, you know.
Look at it. But the fact, the way that we've got the new multi slide phrase, it's not as bad because we'll still have the egg in the bottom left corner, so that's okay.
That's my favorite.
So, you know, with obviously the new collection. Exactly, yeah, but you still want one. Like you gotta have it.
Yeah. Oh, I want an unhatchable.
We can't have the molten egg.
Dragons. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I want to have one unhatchable in one of the 5 factions, the dark dragons, but I don't want a whole bunch of them. Like unless there's, like Roni said, like something down the line where they're like, okay, for the X amount of people that have unhatchables, we're going to do something special down the line. That would be cool. Roni, what do you think about this idea? I think it would be cool for, you know, if you have a Grynch that around Christmas, you know what the Grynch does in the regular thing, they go steal presents. Well, wouldn't it be cool if the Grynch could go into the bunny vault and steal an egg around Christmas time every year?
That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be a
bunny egg, or even any NFT. That would be really cool.
Oh man, there's so many
Searching
NFTs
secondary right now. I'm on the secondary right now.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
That would be crazy.
Or even some form of, you know, just even with the Scyther games or something, you know, maybe steal some Scyther or something, you know, just something funny would be cool.
Just something fun, like just trying to look at new ways to have utility and stuff like that. But
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure they're gonna do something with the Yuligans that's unofficially, but you know, they have to, right? I mean, it's such a great little side story.
Well, I know
how do they go
into
the world? You know?
I know for sure that all the gift hoarders every year for Christmas they're gonna get something. I know that was mentioned by Frank before as well.
They get
and
that's why yesterday.
Every year,
John yesterday was alluding to.
Sorry,
That's
Yeah, those gift hoarders are not going anywhere. Like,
No, it's like you said, Brian. They're going to be hard to get a hold of. It's
yeah, if they have that ongoing utility, like that I was able to pick up a gift hoarder or a egg hoarder because its utility was spent. Like it was no longer, the way that I understood it and the way that the person that I purchased it from understood it was, you got the light dragon, that egg is, it's been spent, so its utility is done. So
that makes sense.
They were fine releasing it. I didn't have to pay the ridiculous cost that I think some people, well, I don't know if it's ridiculous, but they had to pay much higher than mint pricing to get one of those gift hoarder or egg hoarders before they actually found they had the utility. So So it's
right, but the story's not done yet. I mean, they, in theory, could produce something else, right?
Sure. Yeah. They still. I mean, they're.
Right. He was saying that there's what is said in the story has almost already been done. Everything. So rest now is left to the writers now and the imagination. And we know what this project has been like. It's going to be like us from the community. So, chances are a lot of these ideas that we all have on the back end, whether it's in this space right now or if it's even just in Discord, they're going to be listening because they always give us what we want. And so, that's the time now. We can create these stories. Maybe that's what you can do, Brian or RDogg, in one of your stories now. Jump in and fill out the form and mention, you want the Grynch to steal a bunny or an egg or something from somewhere, and there is only 8 of them, so it's not going to be too drastic. And I'm sure there's a special wallet that the Grinches have access to. There's no way the Grinches don't have access to a certain wallet, so they're definitely listening. And John himself will be editing this. So John, man, give us what we want. I like the idea of it.
Well,
I don't even have a Grynch, but I'm pushing for it.
You guys heard that she's planning on coming up with a pop-up book. I told my mom, who's a book collector, about, like I said that the project was planning on doing a Christmas pop-up book, and she doesn't even know what the story is. She's like, I want one. Yeah. She's like, before, it could have been a pop-up book about like anything, and my mom was like, I want one. Because pop-up books are so cool, and collectors love pop-up books, I guess.
It's a nostalgic thing, I'd imagine, for a lot of people. I mean, just you mentioning that, I want one.
Yeah, I do too. I'm like, can we get it this year? But I think they're going to do something with the story this year for the Yuligans again around Christmas time. So that'll be cool. Your wife will love that since she's a huge fan of the Yuligans and Christmas. And so yeah, I'm excited. Like, that's one of my favorite holidays. I'm looking forward to whatever they produce, but a pop-up book next Christmas would be really cool.
Yeah. It's really like Frank and Christa. From a founder perspective, like, they're in a point now where they're going to be able to be extra creative now. Cause as we've been waiting since last year, we've had the series 1s come out. Now we have the series 2, the Yuligans, now the series 2 dragons. They have so much now to build off of that. It's getting to that real exciting point now where they're going to be able to sit back, use all these tools and all these creative ideas that they have the foundation set for now, and really start to, make things fun and unique for us. I think they've really just gotten started with what we've seen so far. Yeah.
And don't forget about the ghosts, like around the Halloween that's coming up in October. Like, there's a whole bunch of ghosts. Like, there's a lot of opportunity with that storyline too, because you got all the factions. You've got Spartan ghosts, which those are rare. Like, there's only 22 or 24 of those. You got the other factions. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff that they could do with those ghosts. So I'm geeking out. Because I haven't been around for a year. Like, I've only been around since you guys were hatching light dragon eggs, and so I'm excited to see what they come up with next. And you guys, yeah, I feel like you guys are OGs, like Luke and Ronnie. You guys have been around for a year or more, and BBS, you've been around about that same amount of time too, right? So
Yeah,
you guys
just under a year. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
Disco was telling me about like, so he was at Richmond a couple of times, and he's like, you got to see these cards, like these cards here, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that is, but like how like fortunate I am to actually hold this in my hand, you know, like not financial advice, but this is pretty awesome. You know, like these in real life items that are tied to these NFTs, and I'm the first one, or I'm at least trying to advocate for NFTs that like utility starts with you. You know, like what are you doing? Like the founders are doing their work and they're doing what they need to do to like get us all enthusiastic, but it's like up to us, right? To like take our stuff and do stuff with it, you know? So like his
additive,
little name, you know, and you know, what are you doing with your stuff? Because at the end of the day, like I want people to know what the stuff is, you know, like I'm getting good at hanging that.
Nice.
Although it's hard to be crooked. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That's fine. Now that I've said that, it's gonna be crooked.
So Ronnie, have you converted some of your tactical Battle Cat stuff into IRL like canvases and those kind of things? Are you guys at that point?
So we've had I'm going to be hoping to do this more consistently, but we have had one Rumble giveaway where we did print out one of the holders tactical Battle Cats. I think it was Rather Lost actually. One at Rumble, and he gave me whatever tactical Battle Cat he wanted. I got it print up on a canvas for him and send out to him. We're going to be at some point integrating that to our website for our shop to have people give them that option if they want to get it themselves. But we will be having, you know, other giveaways and stuff in our Discord. Like we do like to try to integrate as much IRL physical tangible items as we can. And I'm hoping to do that a little more consistently this winter when I'm, you know, at home, not on roof all the time, and I can really, you know, focus on some activities and giveaways for people in the Discord.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can see I've printed out a few. I won a couple, or won one of them, and in one of my trades for one of the twin guards, they had an extra that they had won of that hell, which is the pink one up there.
Yeah.
And like that just got me down the path of like, well, I got these things in my digital wallet. Like, why shouldn't I have them on my wall? Because I love the art. So, and it, you know, in this way, when somebody comes and visits me in my little tiny studio here, I can, instead of pulling up my wallet and showing them the digital stuff, I can be like, it's those things.
Yeah. Yeah, for
they
sure.
can see it.
I have the benefit right now of having the actual physical tangible paintings for the OG collection for our project, which are
nice.
we have 11 large scale paintings, and I have a couple of them hanging up in my office right now before they get sent out, so I'm appreciating them right now myself. But you know,
Sure.
that's currently what I'm looking at is those, because I know that eventually those are going to be going into some holders' hands, so they will be not in my sight for too long.
And we don't want them just all dying in our wallets either, right? We want to cherish them and enjoy them. So it's like, you know, if they're in your wallet, they're kind of hidden away. Having them on the wall, it gives a good thing to look at, and you know, and they're not just dying in your wallet, because the art is just too crazy to seriously just sit in the wallet.
Yeah, for sure.
Ronnie, for listeners who are artists or creators, and that are, you know, they're thinking about that word NFT, right? But they don't know how to get started. Do you have any advice for the listener that, you know, like where would they get started in your opinion, since you have so much experience in that space?
You have to find your niche. You know, you have to really find something that you're able to do with enjoyment, and something that, you know, that you feel that you can provide to your community or to your consumer. And it's not always a consumer. In most cases, it's a friend or family member, and that's where you're going to start, is kind of getting people to know you that way. Getting engaged with the community is your main start. Like, you can't be afraid to speak with people. Twitter Spaces, as we all know, is like your main engagement tool. Go out and talk to people, make your voice heard. You know, you can't be afraid. But when it comes to actually creating and starting, there's normally that initial start of hesitation where it's like, okay, like, I have this idea, I have this plan, like, how do I initiate it? And in my experience, the only way you initiate it is just by starting to take little steps to make the progress happen. It doesn't have to happen in one day or overnight, but you do have to take these consistent little steps. It's just like kind of learning anything really, guitar, whatever. You have to take baby steps. So whether you're a painter, musical artist, someone who wants to create a dynamic field of view with a storyline, a photographer of landscape, you have to find your niche. You have to find that community that is involved in that sort of niche. And then really it's just taking that step and being not scared to just put yourself out there and you know, take those steps to show off your work, and you'd be probably pleasantly surprised with the engagement that you'll get if you do put yourself out there.
Did you have a Discord community before the collection? Like, was that an important step, like having the community in a central location where you could communicate with a lot of people?
So that is an important thing. Like, Discord is going to be, from any creator standpoint who's doing an NFT project that want to engage with your community, whether it's through games, activities, just connecting, mental health, creative ideas, giveaways, like, that's going to be your main tool for almost everything. When we initially started, like, new to the space, yeah, I thought it was extremely important to have like the largest Discord community before really coming in with, you know, something for people to collect. And we realized that there's a split community in Web3. There's the Twitter Web3 community and the Discord Web3 community. So you really kind of have to play both sides of the field. In my opinion, members who do engage in the Discord are always going to get the most benefit out of a brand or project in this space, because like I said, that's going to be the main showcasing tool for new ideas, polls, voting, anything that could give you any intuition for any type of alpha or things that you want to stay up to date with. Discord's going to be the main tool. You're just going to get kind of the main underlining concept from most Twitter things. But when we initially released our OG collection, we decided that we're going to put it out there for people to grab, and it's going to be there. And we're just going to continue to do what we do, continue to create, continue to collaborate, and just add these different facets as we go along. And it's worked well for us. You know, we're a pretty well-known name amongst a few different chains and stuff. And, you know, we're constantly growing and building and looking for new people to connect with and stuff. So it's been interesting.
I'm enjoying my OG. Like, I went in there and I saw something that was like priced right, and I grabbed it. And I know a good friend of mine, Clopping, is also an OG, and now Brian's getting FOMO. And you know, the value that's in that, not so much like it's just like a genesis piece to a great start to a project. So really appreciate that. All right, Luke,
Yeah.
you're on.
No, it was good that you did say, you know, that, you know, the people that engage more in Discord, you know, and Twitter, you know, they do get the extra benefits. And, you know, it's not so much the extra benefits, just this, like, people like you, RDogg, and people like Frank and Christa, they listen to us as the community. So if we're in there engaging and we're talking about what we want, essentially, you know, the project pivots towards what the crowd wants. So it's, you know, us getting out there, us talking about it, us tweeting, us, you know, just spitballing on what we want to see, what we would love to see. You know, the founders hear that sort of stuff, and, you know, they do push towards it. And it also, you know, differentiates, like, you know, 2 years ago, the space was totally different. You know, you could get an NFT, you'd wait for it to mint out, and then you'd quickly pop it on OpenSea for $20 more. And you could do that 5-6 times a day, you know, every single day. And you could get a good, nice little bag up. But, you know, the way that the space is going, well, I feel obviously self-titled and unfinancial, but it's like, the more we engage as a community, we're the ones that do control the project. We're the ones that control the price. We control everything and every facet of part of it. And that's, being there, talking about it is a massive thing in this space. So it's like, yeah, we're going to look after it and it's going to weed out the people. But don't get me wrong, we can still purchase, in my opinion, and hold and not do nothing and then come back in 2 years' time. But we still need, still a core group, or at least a bunch of people that are willing and keen to continue and show the love, which it's not hard with the bunnies because there's so much going on every single day. And, when we partner up with you, Roni, and everyone else in our roundtable, it makes it more even sweeter because we're all just having fun mucking around together. But in that same token, we're actually all building this project, and we're all fractionalized ownership, whether we promote it or we say it or whatever we're not. Again, this is all my interpretations on my own, because I'm always keen to talk about my bags, because if I talk about the projects I love, it's just going to benefit me no matter what. So it's having that honest, that love, from the heart, because we're all here to talk to you guys. Like I don't jump on and check the floor price. Remember when we first started, who checked the floor price like every 2 seconds? Look at the floor price for this. Now I jump on and I check Discord. I see who's tinged me, see who's asked me DMs or anything. And then I don't look at the floor price until I know someone's dumped one real low, and then we're all on there. And then Brian or Aaron will beat us to it. But, BBS last time, which I found out, I gave Aaron a hard time about it. And it turns out that BBS was part of that. But anyway, look, there's another topic we can go on another time.
I ninja that.
On the back end
anyway.
of BBS. But
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off what you said, Luke. I mean, as a founder, we're constantly watching what's going on. So even like you said, the difference between the Twitter and the Discord is you guys are able to use that tool as well to your benefit. So as community members, you guys are in there talking amongst yourselves. I'm in that conversation as well. So even if it's, discrepancies or ways that you would like to see the project going, there's ideas that the community have as they're having these discussions, that is a great tool for us to really, take these agile movements and pivot and decide what is better for the community and what people want to see. So that's a good point too.
I love hopping around to different communities and seeing the same people. I really dig that. It's all right, well, I had a conversation with you, Legion over here. So now I'm over here talking to you, or, it's pretty cool. So I really enjoy that. And it's not so much it's roundtable, yes, but it's other projects too. But yeah, and you pop in too. So it's I'm in your Discord, I'm talking to you, and then I see you, and then you're in a space, and I really appreciate that you just jump in to the weekly spaces, and it's great seeing you face to face now.
Yeah.
Because I don't talk that much. I'm actually really introverted. I don't ask any questions. I just kind of hang out, but I'm always there.
Yeah.
Except when I'm cutting off Luke. But
he's getting better.
Love you, Luke.
You're coming out of your shell, BBS.
Yeah. Oh man, no, I was gonna say same BBS, because you say you're introverted and you're in your shell and everything, but man, the questions that you ask are always ripper, and you always get what you always get what you're paid for when it comes to BBS, and you're always willing to help, man. So 100% shout out, bro, because you're definitely less introverted than you think.
No, appreciate that. Well, I hear everybody every week, and I want to hear different things. We all talk the same. We always have that same dialogue, and so I want to hear what was that message that Frank said to your wife, that got her hooked on this, and no doubt it was probably his charm or the way that he has life and energy in everything that he says.
Yeah.
And so that's what's becoming really apparent as we talk to more and more fans, or as we talk to people in Discord. They just all have the same feeling about him, which is pretty unique. Usually you have different people that have different, especially in the business world, there's different sides to everybody. But I feel like with Frank, it's just like one side, right? So that's
It's face
unique
value
in
with
itself.
Frank every time.
Right. So, yeah.
No, I agree 100%.
Would it have-
Because I mean, Frank has that energy where it's just genuine passion every time he speaks. Like he's the embodiment of like almost like that kid that never quite grew up. And Frank, I mean that as a compliment, trust me. It's like he's constantly so joyous and excited and just like adventure, and it draws you in like that kid that always wanted to go and like throw sticks in the pond and stuff, and you're like, yeah, I want to go hang out with my best friend and just be outside. He has that energy where it's like he just talks and you're just like fixated on what he's talking about, because you just can't believe how passionate he is about what he does, and that's just Frank, right?
Yeah.
And the combined talent of Frank and Christa, like she's an amazing like painter and has this design eye that like she does all the graphic design within the project, but that's a lot of different elements that you have to keep on track of. Like I've worked with her on a few things. The inner circle spaces, I did all of the images for that. Like we promoted that, and just working with her, like I've been doing this for 20 plus years as a graphic designer and a marketer, and her eye was just like right on. Like she was always like one or two steps ahead, and she does a lot that gets like like the game that goes into the Discord, where you have to like hop in and you choose your class, and like how cool is that? Like how cool of an introduction is that to a new community member that is just maybe showing up for a prize? Like we have a few, like, and no shame, right? Because we've all done it. Like jump in and go, okay, I'm here for this. What do I do now? But you get pleasantly surprised, like how fun it is to like choose a class, and I'm for one class, but there are other classes too. I go on about that, but anyway, pirates. But yeah, like so that detail, and then combined with Frank, like it's a win-win for me, and I feel like that the newer people that come in, I also suggested the welcome brigade. So when a new person comes in, you'll see a pop up and it says welcome brigade, and then we all get pinged, and then we jump on them.
Yeah,
I think that would be great for any Discord. Like any Discord that has a new person that comes in, especially after you've gone through this journey of hopping through this, little quest that gives you a taste of the Battle Bunnies. And then you jump into this Discord, and now there's 5 people that are saying welcome. And you're so, you're at the beginning of this, and this is great. I just think that, so yeah, to tie it back to Christa, like we talk a lot about Frank, but Christa is just killing it with the detail and the graphic design as well.
Yeah.
Well, I did the same thing with Christa. I put my foot in my mouth one time, and I was like, Frank this, and Frank that. And Christa's like, yo, I did that? I'm an artist too. And I was like, oh my God. Like, she is seriously one. Like I literally put with in my mouth. Like this was on the space too. Don't get me wrong. This was live.
I was listening to it. Yeah.
She is amazing. Like I literally like, because Frank's an amazing artist, mate. We can't take the flowers away from him, and he is crazily good. And then the fact is, I thought one of Christa's arts was Frank's. That just says it all, man. Like, and how do you get that in one family? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Man.
And Christa's,
sorry, Christa.
From my perspective, Christa's really making a name for herself. Even outside of Battle Bunnies, from my perspective, like she is establishing herself as a true developer, as a founder in the space, like making these new ideas, integrating them into the Discord. It comes out almost simple when you have like a brain that kind of works in that way, like kind of really getting the gears flowing. But like I said, the actual implementation of things is those steps that a lot of people don't tend to take. And she is like on fire when it comes to like coming up with an idea and implementing that idea as fast as she can. And it's normally done with ease, and it's done clean. And she's in other Discords as well. She's in the Art of Nick Taylor. She helps me do some mod work in there too. She's helped me with some bot work, and she's truly like outside of being an artist, she's setting the bar for what I would consider like what is necessary for someone who's working on the back end. So she's killing it.
Well, and being that Christa, obviously when they first met, and she was actually Frank's apprentice. So being like, I say this loosely, I'll probably put it in my mouth again here real quick here, but this is the truth. It's like,
how's that shoe taste?
Frank was a bit of an overnight success. It was a bit of an overnight success with his story that he tells us, like, which I hope he gets to tell us, but he was obviously not. And living under Frank's shadow per se, being so good, it would have been daunting on its own. But the fact is, she is shining bright, even though she's under his shadow. It's such. I don't want to say that. I'll say that loosely, and the fact that we know the real Christa and we know the real Battle Bunnies. So when we're saying something and they're both crazily good at art, and then Frank will say something, then Christa will be like, "No, Frank, it's this." So it's like we know the real brains and the real artists behind the Battle Bunnies. Like, Frank is good, but Christa's on another level in a different era, like.
Christa's over there doing the QA going, "No, Frank, that's not good enough. No, Frank, that's not good enough. No, Frank, that's good enough. We'll use that."
Yeah. Well, if you notice, like in this move that they just recently made, they set up her desk first. So that just, the queen.
Oh, yeah, good point, first. Brian. Good point.
It was like, okay, Frank, we'll get it up by the end of the week, but I need my stuff up now because she's the queen. Like that. I mean, that is a tell for sure. That's
just the pecking order. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. And,
packing order.
Left, right.
Like, I mean, like in DPS, one of the prizes is like a custom from her. Like, that's a big gift. Like her doing that. Like, I remember seeing the custom that she did for Brando. That was in one of the raffles where she did live painting of her watercolors. So good. Catz, like, it's like, I showed my wife, I was like, look at this. And she's like, that's watercolors. like, yeah. Like, I was like, it looks so real. Like, that would be a huge gift for somebody to get one of her custom watercolors or, whatever medium. Because she's so talented.
Just watching her paint it and the tricks and the things that she does along the way, and like in the artist world, in the tattoo world, in the art world, like that'd be like a paid tutorial, and we get to experience all that, for free, like just for the love and the fun, and the fact that it's for one of our homies too, like Brando, like that's even sweeter. And then the fact that she whips it up in like a couple of hours, like how the hell is that even? I think, didn't she paint that? Because I missed the actual painting, but I remember someone saying like, how did she do it so quick? So it's like the fact that, and this is watercolors. If you've ever messed with watercolors before, it's messy. Like, there's a reason why it looks watery.
Yeah, she didn't seem like she was messing around. Like, it was just like everything was like every stroke was perfect. And I'm not an artist, so I don't, like the last time I did watercolors, I was, probably in elementary school, and I was spilling my cup full of the mixed, like the brown water after they all got, mixed together. Man, she was just like, she's like, oh, I'm gonna paint this. She was layering all the stuff, and like I do some digital art, like, but I don't know how to paint like that. That's just insane.
It's really admiring when you're able to watch an artist do their work who is as experienced as Christa or Frank. I get to watch Nick sometimes, like he sends me his compilations of his drawing processes and stuff. It is awesome to watch. So it's like and same experience. It's like you start seeing these shapes that they're putting out, and I can't even tell what he's starting to do, and then all of a sudden, bam, I have some crazy robot structure that he's throwing together with insane detail, and I'm just like, I don't even understand how you pulled that out of your brain and put it on that canvas, but appreciate you.
It's like when they do up, down, and then they flip it over and they do that. And how'd you do it? Yeah, like.
Yeah, and that's part of the history of that piece of art. Like those buildups of that drawing and stuff like that. Like those can be embedded into the NFT, or like with Brando's thing. If like they did it on YouTube, so obviously the conversation and chat that we were having didn't necessarily align with what was going on with what Christa was doing with her painting and stuff like that. So you wouldn't. I mean, but like just to have that, like that goes along with that that piece of art, that watercolor now, like you have like a digital buildup of that from the canvas to the completed thing. Like I would think that would make the art more valuable to a collector.
Mhm.
You know, and with, you know, Nick's stuff, like seeing all that, seeing that happen, seeing that go from a few shapes to some awesome robot thing, like, you know, like that's cool. Like that definitely makes it more interesting than just like, I mean, especially in this world of AI and chat and stuff, like in Mid-Journey and stuff where you can just
Yeah.
prompt something to,
Yeah.
because all of a sudden it goes from fuzzy to your picture and you're like, oh, that's really cool. But to see the artists like go through the layers and all that stuff, that's where I geek out on this stuff.
So on that note, if there's ever anything that you've seen us put out, and we're going to be doing some like open editions actually for Art and Nick Taylor at some point, maybe before the new year, but we're working on some other things as well for another project. But we're planning on attaching that, so when people do get those, they'll drop the file with those attached as well, just for a collective standpoint too, like you said. Like I agree with you. It's a cool dynamic to have too.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it stays on that blockchain with that thing for however long it's on there. Like, right? It's doesn't, you know, it could go for generations. Like, it's like
Yeah.
forever. Like, it's hard to imagine that. But you know, I've heard others talk about the value of NFTs, and the blockchain is not the, you know, the thing. It's like it's all the things that they can put in that. Like this one guy described it as like, it would be cooler, like instead of having like a diamond is forever type of thing, like having your diamond start off as a digital image and then becoming like, you could have like family photos and wedding photos and all the stuff that, you know, around that. But then, you know, the digital thing becomes the thing versus the rock that's, you know, passed on to grandma or something like that, because it could be printed out again or something like that. So
Yeah.
like the technology is so cool that with that.
They're just walking
Yeah, I
around with a
mean-
ledger. Just
Yeah, just have a
my
ledger.
engagement's in here.
You want to print out grandma's ring? Let's go print it out. You know.
That's a good point. Though.
Let's print it out.
You buy a diamond, you get the, and then every picture you take with that diamond, you've got a copy of it stored on the blockchain. Like that's pretty sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, this guy explained it much better than I did, and I know that's a tangent that has nothing to do with Battle Bunnies or the art of Nick Taylor or any of that stuff. But I just like you just see the utility of stuff. Yeah, like you see the utility of what could happen. So, anyways, well, we've had you over an hour. Like I'm usually the bad cop. I got to come in and say, you know, this conversation was great. We appreciate it. You know, like and Luke and BBS never do that. I always leave it up to me to be the bad cop, where I have to be like, okay, well, you know, our fans, you know, loved hearing from you, but we want to have you back. Yeah. Like that's the thing, is I think this conversation could go on and on and on. And that's what I want, is like, I want to invite you back because we know that, you know, you have more to share. You know, obviously there's going to be updates in your projects and, you know, your involvement with the Battle Bunnies. So we'd love to have you back. But before we leave, is there anything that you would share with somebody that's, you know, just getting started? Like what would be you know, what advice would you give to somebody that's coming into the Battle Bunnies to, you know, to get started, like as a newbie?
Yeah, new community member.
So as a newbie getting into the Battle Bunnies, like is specifically getting into Battle Bunnies or just in the space as a whole?
I guess maybe in the space as a whole, because you have other projects. Like not everybody we talk to has other projects. So yeah, just in spaces as a whole. I know as an introvert, I get a little overwhelmed, like joining a new space, because then all these people come in and start talking to me. Yeah. And I'm like, I just want to look around.
I'll figure it out. Yeah,
I mean, take over.
And then I'm going to take over. After I figure it out, I'm taking over. I'm buying everything. I'm going to have one of everything, you know, no. But what would your advice be? Yeah.
I mean, just in general, like I guess circling back to Luke's point earlier about how the space is kind of evolving. You know, you're not just buying an NFT anymore and kind of doing the quick flip thing. You can do that still, but projects even in general are kind of evolving and looking for more utility or things that you can utilize that better fit your life and what you think can help you, whether it's connecting with community, having just day-to-day discussions with people. You can find community within the Battle Bunnies, whether it's activities, playing games, video games, Discord games, any type of activity that you want to just kind of shut your mind down, go hop in the rabbit hole for a little while. You can shut your mind off and go kind of spend some time in there, have some fun. But you really just have to kind of see what benefits you and what you enjoy, and whether that's storyline, just artwork in general, the community, playing games. There's a lot of these different layers that the Battle Bunnies do have to offer. So as a new member, just kind of look around, get comfortable. People like myself and Luke and BBS and Brian are out there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the general chat if you want to just connect with regular community members. But when it comes to Battle Bunnies, like Frank and Chris are just amazing. So, they're going to be there to really help anyone anyways, kind of through the process. So just don't be afraid to ask questions and kind of get through it. But just in general, getting into the space, just look for something that you like. If it's just collecting art and that makes you happy, that's all it has to be. And ultimately, don't let people kind of change that narrative for you. I've seen a lot of people that have gotten into the space for art, and people have deterred them away from just that aspect. So, make sure when you're getting into any space of this nature that you're really getting into it for the reasons that you want to get into it. And that's always been my principle.
Very nice. I'd be remiss if I didn't offer, like, where, if somebody wants to learn more about you and the projects you're involved in, where would you send them?
So you can find us on Twitter or X at Art of Nick Taylor. We also have Discord available, which is all linked in that Twitter. So anything you want to find will be there. Or you can go to our website, www.artofnicktaylor.xyz. So I keep that updated pretty good. There are a few new things that need to go in there, but if you really want to dive deep, get some pretty decent alpha for what we have going on and what's to come, you can check out our website. We usually have stuff up there for people to be pretty up to date with what's going on.
Very cool.
Well, you could even just tag you in the Battle Bunnies main chat, and RDogg won't be far away.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. Tag me in almost a lot of Discords that you're probably in, and I'm probably in there.
Yeah. That's the round table effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate having you today, and for you taking some time out of your evening to spend with us.
Yep.
I know I enjoyed it. I definitely want to take that information and do some more diving into the Art of Nick Taylor and the other projects you guys are working on. I know BBS and Luke are already active members, but I'm still a noob at all this stuff, so this is good for me too.
Well, I'm happy to meet you, Brian, and like to be here speaking with you and BBS, Luke, man. Appreciate you guys poking at me to come on, and I'm definitely going to be on again, and we'll have to plan it, sooner than later. I would love to come on again. I had a great time with you guys tonight, and we could talk Battle Bunnies for hours, but you
didn't even get to play a game. Yeah, I mean, we have some games that we've been playing. I didn't want to put you on the spot. I didn't mind putting John on the spot last night, but yeah, we'll get you for one of our the next round. We'll have one of our mini variety of games that we're coming up with to just entertain the community and just have some fun with it.
Look forward to it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we're gonna say goodbye now, and we look forward to seeing you again next visit.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Take care, everybody.
Thanks
again.
Thank you, Ronnie. Take care.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
Whew, that was good.
Yeah, so awesome.
Huge respect for him and what he's doing there. Yeah. Art of Taylor, and as a community member, he's just solid.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
100%, man. He's been around since like the day dot, and like I said, when I say day dot, it doesn't mean he was here 2 years ago, which he was. But since he found the Bunnies. He's been an active community member. He's been an amazing project leader to partner with, and we love having him on the round table. And like I said, he's like John, man. When he talks, you kind of just want to listen because he knows what he's talking about, and he's done his research, non-financial. But he's done his research, man, and he's a straight shooter. He's straight down the belt. If he can't do it, he can't do it. If he can do it, he's going to do it. If he can make it happen, he's going to give it a shot. And he's juggling all these discords. He's not just juggling. He's the founder of like I don't even know how many. How does he keep up with it? But he's still around. He's still here for us. He's an ultimate fan, man, and that's what it is. He is an ultimate fan. And he's got so much going on in his own life and in his own IRL. But he's just like the rest of us. We take and we make the time.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. Well, awesome, guys.
A quick little
Twitter pick MS.
If you are listening, all right. If you are listening and you do want to get up on the show, man, jump up. We've got 2 introverts sitting up there right now on screen. So it's like, if they can do it, you can do it. And I would love to have RDogg's partner up here, man. That would be sick to hear that story about Frank herself. And if you're just listening, you've been in here day one, you got here yesterday, you hold 100 NFTs, you hold 1 NFT, you hold no NFTs. Jump up, man. We want to see what's your why. Why is your why in the Bunnies? Why is your why in the NFT space? And how has the Bunnies done it for you? How have they kept you around, and why are you still here? So it's never too late. The train's always going. It's on a big circle, man. So when anyone says you've missed that boat or you missed that train, it's not true. This train is a long train. We're here for the long haul. 20 years time, we're probably all going to be here talking this again. Maybe not Brian. That's a bit of an old joke. It sounded bad. I know.
Phil's not that much younger than I am. So Phil, he just he took a shot at you too. I mean, I know I got the gray hairs, but I
have gray hairs too. Yeah.
But now,
and for those that are on the fence, because I've talked to a few community members that are, I don't know if I want to. You definitely need to be on here because your story is just as important as all of the episodes that you've listened to before this. You are, I said this in a previous Fancast, but then I read a book and it had the same analogy. So, Mark Schaefer, I'm very sorry I did that because I mentioned each person is a puzzle piece, and then I read a book and there's literally a puzzle on this book, and Belong to the Brand, I believe is the book, and it's true. Each community member is a puzzle piece. Yeah, Belong to the Brand, Mark Schaefer. Each person is important because they have a different perspective and a different story that adds to this entire world. It really just fills it up and makes it make sense for everybody. So your story is very important. And to Luke's point, someone that just joined who doesn't have any of these NFTs, who's just what's going on? Your perspective is important also. What did you see when you first came in here? What, were you welcomed? Did you like the game when you first showed up? How did you get here? Was it a Twitter space? Was it a contest? And then for the OGs, we've talked to a few in the episodes that you've listened to before this that you'll hear that for me, it feels like it's all kind of the same story. So I'm interested in that too.
Very cool. Well, awesome. Let's wrap up, and we look forward to doing this again next week with more Ultimate Fans. So it could be you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back. Thank you for joining us today, Ultimate Fan. BBS, Lord L, and Brian, that's me, do hope you enjoyed today's program as much as we did, where ultimate fans like you are the stars of the show. We'd be honored to have you join us on a future episode where you can share your story and love of the Battle Bunnies with this encouraging community. It would be the greatest compliment if you shared something you love about the Battle Bunnies on your favorite social platform today, like X, Facebook, or Instagram, and tagged us. Or simply use hashtag UltimateFancast so we can recognize and celebrate with you and other super fans by sharing your post. bonus points if you do both and use an image of one of your favorite Battle Bunnies or a screenshot of this episode. We know you share, like, and comment because you care about our fellow Ultimate fans as much as we do. Please leave comments too to let us know how we can make this the greatest fan experience for the Battle Bunnies community. This podcast is sponsored by Hairstream Media, your bunnies all the time streaming service. Okay, not really. It is just us fans like you giving some of our time to support other fans like you. Join us over in the Battle Bunnies community and Discord to continue the fun. We hope you tune in with us each week. So make it easy. Subscribe now. We'll be here to keep you hopping when you need us.